Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Oceans Day programming. I'm so excited that you are here with me. Oh, look, everybody's coming in. So, the next guests that I have are Alexi and Giada Lubomirski, two of my very dear friends and partners on the program. I'm going to bring them in now, and we are going to be talking about some really exciting stuff. And I can't wait. I hope you guys have been enjoying the program. Definitely shoot us some comments. Hi, guys!
Hi, how are you?
Very excited to have both of you on this conversation. How are you?
I'm good. We're good.
Crazy. We're good.
I mean, with everything going on, I don't know anymore what to answer.
No, you guys have been working so hard at everything that you're doing, and you've got such a beautiful family. So can you give us a little update? I know you guys are doing some great stuff. What's going on with you guys?
Well, I mean, we are trying to stay afloat like everybody else and try to keep the work going and flowing and the inspiration alive because it's so hard now to be inspired and stay in that space with everything that's going on around us.
Yeah.
So, we're really just trying to keep connecting with each other in our communities because we believe that's the number one thing we can do right now, and it's the most important thing we have to do as a citizen of the world. We have to reach to our neighbors and connect with each other as much as we can, whether it's online or on your street or in your city or wherever you are. It's important to connect. So that's what we're doing, number one.
Well, I'm so excited to connect with you. And as we're starting to see more and more people come in, this is great. I'll just do a quick intro. So you guys, these are my wonderful partners for this incredible project, Fashion for Oceans, which thank you so much. Without you guys and your team and everything, this wouldn't be possible. So I'm super grateful for both of you. Your world
Back at you.
brought this together, and a good Wi-Fi connection too. And just a little bit of background. I'm sure everybody knows who you are, but I'm just so proud that Alexi and Giada Lubomirski are two wonderful, incredible, passionate, and powerful activists, and also specifically around ocean activism. They do a lot of really wonderful things, but what they love specifically is the oceans. And so we're going to be here today talking to them a little bit about that. So first question for you guys, and thank you so much. And also, Creatives for Change actually is another partner of ours in Peace Boat. Sorry, I didn't say that. I'm just so excited. Creatives for Change, but we're gonna here. So, okay, we got those intros done. I'm just seeing all these faces roll in. It's super excited. So let's get to the story. We want to understand the story about how and why you guys became so passionate about the oceans. I know that we talked a little bit earlier today, but can you share with the community about why you became so passionate about saving the oceans?
Well, I'll start. Well, I grew up in Italy, which is obviously a boot surrounded by water. So I've always had an affiliation with the ocean. I've always had a passion for the ocean. As a little girl, as a family, we would go, even living in Rome, we would head outside of Rome and head to the ocean. So that's always been there in my heart from when I was a little girl. But, my background's in fashion. I used to design for a bunch of designers in the city, stylists, blah, blah, blah. And I realized slowly but surely that people weren't talking about the relationship with fashion and the oceans. So that I started to get into the ocean space more to educate myself. So I started to go to all of the wonderful events and activation that the UN World Oceans Day produces and creates during every year. So ever since the UN started World Oceans Day, I have been involved. And I'm so proud to say that I'm now part of the Friends of World Oceans Day group at the UN. And I have joined a wonderful group of 208 organizations and activists and just leaders in the ocean space, scientists, marine biologists from all walks of life all over the world. So I I'm so happy now that I'm part of that community, and I'm so excited to have joined you, Patrick, and Peace Boat US to make this conversation greater. And I'm going to leave it to Alexi to share our first journey into actually doing the activation in Italy, which started 2 years ago.
Really exciting. You guys really got hands on, and I think that is so wonderful. You did that. So yes, please share. We love that.
So I have to say that I would love to say that I've been an environmentalist all my life, which is a complete lie. I think as you get older, you get more educated, and then when I met this one, it kind of
this one.
I don't remember her name, but when I got to go with her, she suddenly amplified everything, and it went into stratosphere. And so the funny thing about Giada, we'll talk about her like she's not here, is that when she gets a bug in her brain about something, things start to shift. So we were in Italy in 2017 or 18?
18. We've been 18. Going to Italy and spending our entire summers there.
Yeah.
And in the summer of 2018.
No, my story.
Okay.
See, can't get a word in edgewood. No, so 2018, we were on the beach in Sardinia, and Giada was noticing all the plastic on the beaches, and the cigarette butts, and the pen tops, and the lighters, and everything. And she says to me, "You know what? I'm going to find out who to talk to, because this is ridiculous. There's no trash cans, there's nothing." And I've seen this kind of look in her eye where you can sense that the planets are about to shift in her favor. And so I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. And then 2 days later, we were in the office of the president of the national parks of
La Maddalena.
Lovely guy there who saw us both coming in. I think he expected a nice chat. And Giada just basically gave him a good talking to about what they should be doing, how they should be doing it better. And before long, he said, "Listen, do whatever you need to do. We'll give you our resources. Can you help us out?"
I'm going to interject, though, because, and Patrick, I don't think we can hear you that well. I don't know if it's our volume.
I think it's our volume.
Oh, no, I think it's his because it went
there
down.
Is that better?
It might be our phone,
okay.
But I just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
And I will interject because this is why I feel things can be so serendipitous without you realizing that they are. So the Airbnb apartment that we were renting in La Maddalena, which is a little island off of Sardinia, and it's absolutely stunning, and the community there is completely incredible and international. They the owners of the apartment kept seeing us bring all this trash every day after our beach day. And one of the owners, Patrizia Colnago, who's now a dear friend of mine, she was coming up to me like, "What are you going to do with all this trash? You're not leaving it here, are you?" So we started talking, and I said, "Of course I'm going to disregard it, place it in the right place. I'm going to go to the ecology center, don't worry. But who can I talk to about this problem? Because the tourists, the locals, everybody seems uneducated and even not knowing what to do with their trash." So she told me, "Well, I work for the president of the National Park de la Maddalena, so I could try and set up a meeting." And we were leaving in 2 days. So
this is the planet shifting, you see.
We thought that it wasn't going to happen. So anyway, she sets up the meeting, and I like Alexi said, we gave this spiel of why they should be more involved with their local communities and the tourists to make a difference, to come together and create some kind of community project or initiative that can help educate people about ocean awareness and ocean education. So then a year afterwards, which it took me a year to really bring together dozens of non-for-profits, ocean organizations, marine biologists, and also environmental artists. Mm-hmm. But most importantly, we got together almost 40 volunteers from all over the world to come and help us.
Yeah.
And we launched Italy's first ever Ocean Awareness Week.
Amazing.
Which we're so proud to say, because after a lot of research, we realized nobody had ever done that. Nobody had ever dedicated a whole week of ocean education in Italy.
Bravo.
So yeah, so that's pretty much what
I was going to say. It's fine. I can just sit here. It's okay. You know, I've got things to do.
I'm Cuban Italian, so be
Yeah.
careful. I'm going to take over your conversation.
But one thing, you know what? I can't hear you at all.
Wait, Patrick, we can't hear
Now, you know
you.
what it is? Can I call back in? Because I think somebody called my phone and then.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
We can hear you very far away.
Huh. Is that
It's
okay?
probably his crappy Samsung.
Let me try this. Amy, is that better? Is that better?
Yeah, it's a little better.
Ah, okay. Is that better?
But I want to just add one thing though. When we
Okay.
go on holiday, Giada packs an extra duffel bag. And I'm like, why are you going to use this? Is this for shopping? And she goes, no, this is for all the garbage we're going to bring back home. So
Okay.
literally, as we get anything that she can't recycle on holiday, she starts packing. And so all of a sudden you have this, I was like, where's this extra bag coming from? It's so heavy. And it's literally full
Not
of,
heavy, it's just film plastic.
my story is better. And it's just like these plastics and that you can't recycle that we have to TerraCycle when we get home. But we literally import non-recyclable stuff.
Well, I can't leave any trash behind, and I do collect trash that can't be recycled off the beaches and take it back with me and TerraCycle it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, if we ever got stopped in customs, it would be the weirdest conversation.
It's
That's
okay.
hilarious.
It'd be so
Well,
awesome. I would film the whole thing.
I love that you guys have a strategy, and I love that you guys were so overtaken by that passion to import plastic trash back here to America. But a question, because we need more trash here. Because, okay, I'm just so excited about this conversation. So listen, you guys are so deeply entrenched in the fashion industry. That's what this conversation is about, is how has the fashion industry affected the ocean? So a couple questions I have are, how did you activate those people around the oceans in the fashion industry, and why is that so important? Did you open their eyes to something that they'd never seen before? How did that all culminate? That's a big deal to do 1 week all dedicated to oceans with all of your community. How did that happen?
Well, the fashion industry, wasn't really that involved in Italy's first Ocean Awareness Week.
Okay.
What we were trying to do last August was to plant the seeds, and it's called Basta con la plastica.
Mm-hmm.
So really, we are trying to get more fashion industry entities in the conversation, because as you know, Italy is Milan and even Rome. They're the capital of fashion in the fashion industry. So having those personalities behind us would be essential. And actually, to be quite frank, that's not true. I'm gonna go back. Vanity Fair Italy was very supportive of our initiative last August, and they wrote a piece on our movement that we started, our little community movement that we started. And if the fashion industry got more involved, because actually I believe they have a huge responsibility to the ocean and the ocean communities that depend on it, and mainly the marginalized communities that get completely ignored around the world and are being directly affected by the fashion industry in so many different ways. I mean, there's so many complex layers to the fashion industry, and I think, I told you this, Patrick, but my dream would be through fashion and the oceans that the fashion industry get on board with us to save the ocean. Because the reality is here, everybody that's tuned in, is that the ocean is dying.
Yeah.
And, the pandemic is a huge reflection of where we're at. The earth is sick. Humanity is sick. So now we have to operate on an emergency level. No more little, this and that. No, we have to all come together. I don't care how big of a celebrity you are, or how big of a magazine you are, or how big of whoever you are. We all have to come together and join forces, because I'm sorry, I'm going to be a little bit depressing and see this, but we are all dying slowly with the earth right now. We are living in a mass sixth extinction, and everybody has to get it through their head. If everybody gets it through their head and joins forces to save the ocean and everything else that is dying with it, including 1,000 species a day, then we can actually do something positive as a human collective and as a global community. But if we are all in our own little bubbles, which I understand now is going to be more challenging because of the pandemic, we have to try and figure out and be innovative and creative on how to come together to save communities, to save the environment, to save species that are literally dying right now. So,
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm really
Giada, like you will do what you said. But also, I think the reason the fashion industry, I think, is in a very unique position that we as an industry can create trends. You know, if we decide that we want the color pink to be in next season, the magazines will be filled with pink, and if that's what we decide to do, that's what it'll be. So we just need to make sure, we need to highlight and put on pedestals the idea of saving the ocean and being more environmental and more sustainable, et cetera, et cetera. And once we all get on board, and I think 2020 is really a year about everything coming to light, you know, truths coming out. It's no more, like Giada said, it's no more about sort of doing, we're going to do this little project over here, we're going to try and just do a little capsule design, whatever. It's about flipping the book, flipping the tortilla, I think the expression goes, and just really just changing everything. Because this is we've seen how quickly things have changed this year, and so it proves that things can change on a dime. You know, you don't have to wait for a huge movement.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys, I'm going to explain what's happening in my head right here. There's like joy and like excitement over here, but then extreme sadness. So you probably saw me smiling and crying at the same time.
No.
I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. But we're just so lucky to have two wonderful people like you that take this on. You really do. You really take, and it's not just to your entire family. I mean, I know you personally, your entire family, your children are walking the walk, talking the talk, and that's something I think is such an important example. Where do we begin? Why is this so important for people to get involved in this? I think why is it so important for people to understand the impact that what a dead ocean would have on us? Why is this so important? Why is it so important?
Well, for one, without the ocean, we are dead. So I'll just say that 70% of our oxygen comes from the ocean. So if we could just really take a moment and let that sink in, I think that people will realize that it should be part of one of the things on our priority list, if not the number one priority list item to work on. And I understand everybody is so stressed right now with how they're going to keep their job, how they're going to move forward. Listen, we're all in this together. We're on this boat together, right? But the only way that we are going to be able to get ourselves out of this pandemic mess and the ocean devastation, the species elimination that's happening by the thousands a day. I think it's 1,000 of species a day are dying. When we see all of these red alerts, it feels so overwhelming. And I understand that. And it's okay to feel that feeling, actually. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. I feel it constantly, and it's okay because it actually gives me the drive to keep going and keep connecting. And I will use this live chat right now on my husband's, whatever he has, 380,000 followers. I don't care. I don't care what we need to do to scream to the top of the rooftops that this is a red alert, and whoever wants to join us, come on board, because we are going to connect with everybody who cares about saving the ocean and saving humanity and completely transforming the fashion industry.
I love that. Alexi, I love it. We're going to use you, Alexi. We're using you. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. No, but one thing when she was picking up on one of the couple of things she said, was one of the things about feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I think that one thing that we noticed when we were doing the Italy's first Ocean Week last year, and Giada was working like a crazy person the whole time, and I was with the kids sort of dropping in every now and then on the beach cleanups and the forums and everything. And I remember there was one day we went to a beach, and you know, you arrive on these beaches. When you go on a beach cleanup, a lot of the time you go to a beach and you think, you glance at it quickly and you go, oh, it looks pretty good. This is a nice beach. There's not that much of a problem. It's going to be an easy day. So you start going and finding a few lighters and a few pen tops and a few cigarette butts and whatever else you find. And you fill a bag and you feel good. You feel like, yeah, I've done a really good job. And you sit down. And this was what struck me, is I suddenly sat down with my son and we were running our hands through the sand. And as you run your hands through the sand, where you just picked up all these big items, as you flip the sand, you start to notice that these aren't all grains of sand. There's all these bits of microplastic.
Mm-hmm.
So you start picking them up and you start to clear an area like 1 foot by 1 foot. And you think, okay, I've done something. But then as soon as you run your hand through that sand again, more comes up. And you realize the enormity of the problem.
Yeah.
And I actually got pretty depressed. I was like, this is an insurmountable thing. We can't conquer this. And it was my son, because it's always the young ones who sort of come along and sort of spark a bit of hope. And my eldest son said, well, you know, Daddy, every bit that you pick up is one less bit for a fish to eat.
Oh.
And so it's really that case of, you know, it's that idea of you don't have to climb a mountain in one step. As long as you're taking baby steps in the right direction, one day you will get there.
Amazing. We were just having that conversation this morning with Carrie Summers from Fashion Revolution, who was a part of a women-led expedition to go look at plastic waste in the ocean. And she said the same thing. She said, I went out into the sea and I saw how beautiful it was. It was crystal clear and it was just majestic. And then as soon as we started to do the test and we started to put the canisters down in the ocean and pull it up, and we saw it was just plastic and more plastic and more plastic. And she became really present to the urgency that's behind that. And I think that's a really important thing that both of you just communicate, is the urgency and behind that. So, you know, both of you are such incredible active citizens, and you each have your own wonderful special talents. Can you share a little bit about on what you guys both do in your own lives and on how to be an active citizen with respect to the fashion industry? So maybe Alexi, you could start and tell what is it like being creators for change, and what is it?
I get to talk?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you have any time,
what happens?
If you've got time, no, because the thing.
You know what? I'm gonna get my coffee. No, seriously.
Be right back, girl. No, but the thing is like, you know, let's talk about this. Let's just be real. Like, fashion industry clients, they don't necessarily want to think about the environment first all the time. So like, how do you have this powerful message? I mean, you really have, and both of you, but you really have, as a really well-known photographer who's out there making a change and taking a stand. How do you say to your clients no? How do you say to the people, you know, how does that even work? And what are you dealing with?
I think it's about being being polite and being understanding. And I think that, you know, so I started this thing called Creators for Change, which is the idea that all of us creators who work in the fashion industry are blessed to have our job, right? And that blessing should not come at the expense of animals, the environment, or people. So the overall idea for Creators for Change is to try and make the fashion industry the best version of itself that it can be before I get kicked out of it, which could be tomorrow after she's been on my Instagram.
Okay, we'll just be farmers in Montana.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so one of the first initiatives for Creators for Change was to ask people to stop using fur, feathers, or exotic skins in their creative output, because it's 2020. We don't need that stuff anymore. I mean, it's mind-boggling that we still use that. And so when I go on set, we have in my rider, my contract, whatever you want to call it, my agreement when I go on set, that I can't photograph fur, feathers, exotic skins. But it really is about I find from my point of view, it's easier to get people to change when you work with them rather than when you force them or push them them to do something. So I say to them, listen, I would love to do your job, but just before I say yes to the job, FYI, I can't take pictures of this stuff. And most of the time they'll say, okay, give us a day to talk about it. And I'll come back saying, you know what, it's fine. We've only had a few pieces anyway. We're going to take them out because we want to shoot with you. And it's better to do that than get on set and saying, I'm not going to photograph that. And then they're put on the spot. So it's really about working. I find it's about working with people and being a positive force to try and sort of inspire people to want to do better rather than shaming people to do better. And it's a very fine line. I think in any war, there's different jobs. You know, you need to have the general, the diplomat, the pacifist, the sniper, and et cetera, et cetera. And I think I try to be more of the diplomat, sort of jumping from one side to the other, saying, listen, I understand why. And a lot of time I talk to people about it when I'm trying to convince them to stop using these things. And I ask them, I don't go in there saying you shouldn't do this. I say, why, what difficulties or challenges would you face if you stop doing that?
Yeah.
And a lot of the time people will say, well, I can't stop doing that because whatever reasons it is, you know, because of the clients, because of the customers, because of whatever it is. And more often than not, they will talk themselves round into agreeing to what I'm asking them to do. Because it makes common sense. It doesn't make common sense. It makes sense. It is common sense.
So you're like an environmental therapist. You're like an environmental therapist for brands.
Exactly. I'll just present a question and then you fix it yourself. And it's amazing because people, all of us would like to think of ourselves as good people and compassionate and empathetic and kind. And I think we are at our heart. But I think that we've had so many generations, so many decades of being able to turn a blind eye to things. And this is why 2020 gives me hope, because you've seen so much happen this year where things have been brought up. You know, it's no more behind the door where you're going to say, I'm not really going to notice that. You have to pay attention to what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And if you don't make a change, you're last year.
Yeah, you're passe. You're old school, baby.
Wow.
Yeah, that's so funny. So, okay. So this is not an easy thing to do. So I want to talk some tools, your toolkit. So it's not just like one day, all of a sudden you had all this access, right? So we were talking a little bit before about who you can engage and how you can engage them. Because I think for me, being an active citizen, like I want to walk out my door right now and go save the ocean, but who the hell do I call? Who the hell do I get in touch with? I don't even know. And I think many people think like that. So can you share like a little bit of your journey, like where you started and where you got to, and what people actually have access to that they don't even know about, maybe? Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest learning experience was last August, again, teaming up with the National Park de la Maddalena. That experience alone opened my eyes to the fact that national parks, like we don't look at government offices that are set up for citizens like us that pay taxes, by the way, and people don't realize, like they think, oh, I have to work for like the biggest ocean, or if I don't work for the biggest ocean organization out there that's not getting back to me, I'm not going to be relevant or people aren't going to take me serious. Well, guess what? You can call or contact your nearest national park, or if you live in a coastal community, I would go directly in person if you could, and get to somebody there, or your marine conservation government office. You have to try on the tools that you have right there as a citizen, because people don't realize those offices are usually empty. You know, nobody realizes the power that an expert government office like that could bring to your initiative on whatever initiative you want to do, whether it's starting to clean up national parks, whether it's starting to clean up the coast of California. There are so many incredible government offices that you could literally bombard. That's because amazing. You're a taxpayer. Yeah. And there's incredible small ocean organizations and other types of small ocean organizations. I like to go to the smaller organizations because they're the ones that actually put all of their efforts in. If you become too big, you lose the beauty, the magic of the organization. I've worked with really huge organizations, and I can say that. I'm not going to name names, of course, but they've lost their special magic. So go to the little guys, go to the little organizations. Those are community-built initiatives within organizations as well. There's incredible community building platforms within those small organizations. But use your government offices. They're there for you. You pay them to be there. That's amazing. In my case, I was lucky. I just happened to rent an apartment in a little island off of Sardinia, where the woman works for the national park. So that was easy. But she was like, anybody could walk in here and ask us questions, call us, make appointments. And I feel like we have that same right here in America. Like, you could literally walk into any national park office. They're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You just literally have to do a little research, a little Googling, and find your nearest one and go and find out what they're already doing or what they're missing, so you can start the initiative and the project with your community.
And that's amazing. And that's the title of this conversation, which is the power of one. So kind of circling that all back, what you guys really did was activated yourselves, and then the impact that you are making because of that is massive. So I think the message with that, Giada, thank you so much for sharing those resources, and please continue after my diatribe, is that we need to trust ourselves that we can make an individual difference if we can find people to collect with us and start to make that change together. So I hear that a lot too, where people say, I don't know what I can do, or I'm too far away, or oceans don't affect, but that's actually not true. And we can't think like that anymore. So,
and I think that also nowadays, people don't realize the power of social media.
Mm-hmm.
Social media has given everybody a platform.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody can make a difference on their social media. And I always talk to people about, using your social media. It shouldn't just be about taking pictures of your feet in the sand, or taking pictures of your food and your cat and missing you with a glass or something, whatever. Do all that by all means, but use your social media for good once in a while. Think of your social media. I remember going to Instagram once to talk to them about when Instagram first started-ish, and they were talking about what it should be, how you should sort of use it as a business tool. And they said, treat it like a magazine, right? When you go to buy a magazine, you have things that you're going to see in there. So you're going to get the fashion pages, the cover story with the celebrity. You're going to get the astrology page. You're going to get some bit of educational piece.
Mm-hmm.
Think of your social media like that. So by all means, do all the selfies, do all the this is me and my cat, whatever it is. But think about having one for good post a week.
Mm.
And set it, because that way you can start setting out, you can connect with people so easily through social media now.
Mm-hmm.
And to gather an online community is so much quicker than it was 10, 15 years ago to gather an actual community in physical. So
that's great advice.
People really need to remember the power of their thing, and don't be afraid. People get very weirded out by saying, I don't really want to put anything out there too environmental or too political because I'm not really there and I don't want to seem weird.
Or I don't know too much. That's the one that I hear all the time. I don't know too much. I'm not an expert. Well, guess what? Nobody is.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe there are a lot of experts out there, but not everybody has to be an expert to make a difference or to change, your neighborhood to a positive. To make a positive change in your neighborhood. I do want to say one thing. Like, even one of my dearest friends, Janine Martel, who's an artist, we said, you know what, New York City is starting to look like crap. What are we going to do about it? Guess what? We're just going to go outside and start cleaning our streets, river to river. We started doing it ourselves, posting a little bit here and there. We ended up recruiting groups of people to literally clean New York City streets because government officials weren't doing the job. So we took it upon our own selves as citizens to clean up your own neighborhood, saying clean up your own beach, clean up your own streets. There's an amazing app that I found later after I started doing this initiative called Litterati, which literally records all of the litter, and it shows the maps of when people come together and clean up neighborhoods and streets. It's a huge difference. You see nature coming back to life. You see animals coming back. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's not as hard as people think.
Yeah. And this is the other thing, the pandemic, apart from the devastation of it, we saw all those little signs of hope when it came to the environment. How such a short time without people being there can regenerate so quickly.
Yeah.
So I think that's the other thing, when people think that I can go and do this, but is it really going to make a difference? 100% it's going to make a difference. Every step is in the right direction. So
amazing.
Yeah.
And we have no choice to make a difference right now.
So the fashion industry is probably the largest contributor to pollution in the ocean, as we were learning today with Carrie Summers, for many different reasons. Oh, my mom's turning the lights on and off. Hi, Mom. Hi, Sharon. She wasn't happy.
Hi, Mom.
She wasn't happy with the lighting in here. Okay, so what are some tips, because you guys are so entrenched in the fashion industry, and I know, Giada, I know you love clothes. I know you've got that special closet upstairs.
I love fashion.
I do too. I know, Alexi, I know you like it too. So quickly or not quickly, what are your tips, or what do you think people should do in order to, have an impact through their wardrobes? That's a good question, because I think people don't even understand that their wardrobe choices have an impact. So are there any tips that you've got for people?
I'm going to give the quick answer.
Okay.
The quick answer is know where your stuff comes from. Know what it's made of. Be aware. In the same way that you look at food. You don't just, a lot of nowadays, we are so much more conscious of food and where it comes from. We don't just sort of buy any old stuff. We check on the thing, like, is it GMO, is it organic, whatever it is. Treat your clothes the same way. That's the short answer.
Okay.
And now?
Well, I went extreme about 5 years ago, and I've been doing this for 10 years for my kids. Just don't buy anything new. Buy everything used. If you have to buy new because you just are one of those people that has to buy something new, then look for sustainable designers that really do the job, and don't greenwash, because there's a lot of companies that greenwash, which that's a whole other topic. I am happy that big brands and even fast fashion companies are starting to have full on, transformational collections and technology and innovation. That's for sure. But if not, just vote with your dollar. Don't buy new stuff, not to say other words, that have synthetics, that have plastic, that are hurting an animal, that, you don't need to buy new. There's so much used, amazing stuff out there. And Patrick, you can talk about this. I mean, you launched the swap chain through Global Fashion Exchange. You've done the biggest swaps of clothing in the world, in different parts of the world. And, I love you because of so many reasons, but you really have brought to the surface a new way to shop without hurting the planet, animals, and people.
Oh, thank you.
And really empowering creativity and innovation as well through technology, and being able to swap incredible clothing between different communities. So actually, I want to turn to you so you can talk about the swap chain and Global Fashion Exchange and all the amazing things you do. But for me, I don't buy anything new anymore, and I haven't bought any new toys and clothing for my kids for almost 10 years. So that's where I'm at. I'm against buying anything new.
So the tips are from Alexi, which is an awesome one, is know where your clothing came from. We heard that earlier from Carrie as well, which is great, because what people don't understand is that their clothing also may be made of organic ingredients, but has synthetic dyes. There are all those crazy things that are part of clothing. So know how it's made, know what's in it, and know where it comes from. That's great. And then also the circularity aspect too, Giada, which you're talking about. So buy nothing new, and which is awesome. I love swapping and sharing. And as we were having the conversation, our friend Amanda Parks was coming through here, and she's incredible because she talks about material innovation, which you were talking about as well. That's something I think is super important, is that there are incredible materials out there. Like, she works with seaweed and all these other incredible things that are regenerative, and that can actually.
I'm all about that. Woohoo,
yeah.
Amanda!
So we're going to hold that because it's later in the program this week, but we're super excited about that. Time is running out, and I've got more questions for you guys. So, okay. We've got something big to announce with Creatives for Change. It's a photo contest. So, can you tell us a little bit about what Creatives for Change is, why we should be so excited about it, and then tell us about this photo contest?
So Creatives for Change, as I said, is about changing the industry for the better.
Yeah.
But it's really about sort of using everybody who is a creative has this amazing power to inspire. Whether you're an artist, a designer, a photographer, a stylist, whatever. Whatever you create goes out into the world and can inspire people to do one thing or the other. So what we decided to do for Creatives for Change this week is to change the name to Creatives for Oceans. And I didn't get invited to this dance. I don't know how it goes.
We had a meeting. Anyway, we had a meeting before you came on.
Okay, so okay, good. And basically, we're starting a competition today, and we're asking all creatives out there, whoever you are, whatever your passion is, whether you're an illustrator, a photographer, a designer, a potter, a potterist, a potter, a potter,
A potter?
Potter.
Potter.
Potter?
Let's say potter.
A potterist?
Anything creative.
A weaver.
Yeah.
A weaver.
A designer.
A
So
sculptor.
any
All right, there you go. Creative. So we get the idea now.
any
So,
medium, right?
Anyway, so is to think submit something creative that inspires the human, or it talks about the human connection to the ocean. And what image or what piece of work can you put forward that will inspire people's love for the Earth's oceans? So if you can put it on your Instagram, whoever you are out there, the creative person, and post it before July 15th.
Or on July 15th with a hashtag, right?
Yeah, but any time from now until July 15th. And it's got to have a hashtag of Creatives for Oceans. And 4 is a number 4. And put hashtag Creatives for Oceans and also at Fashion X Oceans.
Right.
If you want the details, just go to my Instagram and you can see one of my last posts to get all the details. And we're going to pick five winners. And each winner, we will post their image of whatever it is, their creation, across all of these Instagram accounts, which is mine, Alexi Lubomirski, Ecoshaker, GFX, Fashion X Oceans, Peaceboat US.
Everybody. We're going to just spread it like wildfire.
So this is great. This is great.
And then also the winners will get, the 5 winners will get a sustainable gift curated by Ecoshaker.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. So we're going to follow this conversation up with the specific directions and direct people to your Instagram to look for those directions.
Fantastic.
And let's not forget about the film.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah, for sure. One thing is, but that ties up the power of one. So what we're doing is going out to the community and telling them and asking them for them to be a part, so we can have them have their inspiration. So whether you win or not, it doesn't actually matter. It's about coming together and showing us what you're inspired by, so you can inspire everybody else, right?
Absolutely. And I'm so excited to see this global digital gallery.
I know, me too.
Because when you go on the hashtag Creatives for Ocean, you'll be able to see art and creativity from all over the world. I mean, that is an awesome, I love that concept.
It's awesome.
And I'm going to be posting mine later.
I know, me too.
She doesn't get to win, though. She doesn't get to win.
I know, but I'm so excited because I wanted an excuse to make like a fun digital collage.
I know, me
so now
too.
I get to do it. Yay.
Yay. So real quick, so I'm looking to the comments. Hey, everybody, just real quick, we'll be giving those instructions and giving you the play-by-play on that, so you won't be left behind. And now let's talk about the film Basta con la plastica.
Yeah,
did I get that right?
Basta con la plastica, which means enough with plastic.
Which was the name of the world, Italy's first ever Ocean Awareness Week.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So
last
circle.
August, we launched Italy's first Ocean Awareness Week, which I named Basta con la plastica with the National Park di la Maddalena to get everybody's attention, because Basta con la plastica is a little bold, but it was really just a portal to bring the conversation about ocean education into the game. And we decided to do a little film, like very short film, about 10 minutes, about our week. And it's incredible. I mean, we're gonna put it on Alexi's Instagram soon after our call. It'll probably take us like 20 minutes to figure out. But we're gonna launch it on his
Great.
Instagram, because I've put it on my Instagram before, but I feel like his audience needs to see it. It's just so inspiring. And I will say, one of the biggest climatic points of that week, which it is highlighted in the film, is that we found, this is how powerful beach cleanups can be. We found loose asbestos all over the beach, in one beach, where little kids were running around barefoot on top of asbestos, which looks just like rock. So it just camouflages in the sand. And that's why also it's so important to team up with a national park or an expert government official, because they're the ones that pointed that out to us and the volunteers. Gosh. We had no idea. They are the ones that Tommaso Gamboni, who works for the national park, he's an expert and he's the one that found it. And that's why I think it's so valuable to have people like the National Park de la Maddalena join forces with you, because you can find some devastating revelations during your beach cleanups, which you can fix and you can create solutions. You know, immediately the national park got on top of that. And again, I felt so proud in that moment, because our little beach cleanup brought something very serious to light, and the community was alerted right away. So, you know, to end it on that note, we will showcase the film on Alexi's platform so you can see it. It's only 10 minutes, but it's very inspiring, and it just shows how great, you know, what people can do when they come together.
And just one thing, just to take it back to this power of one thing. So
we're never going to stop.
Yeah, we're going to extend this, it's fun. Yeah, exactly.
It's going to cut us off.
Oh, sorry.
No, very quickly, just to say, because when you mentioned the word basta con la plastica, this is how ideas can start. So when we came back from that meeting with the president, Giada was sitting on the beach and she was looking off into the distance. She was like, basta con la plastica. And I was like, what? And she goes, I'm going to do something called basta con la plastica. And I was like, okay, cool. And then 1 year later it happened. But also, I wanted to say about the power of one, about how you can make a difference. I have watched Giada clean. Every time we go to a beach, Giada's carrying her, what's a muslin? No, what's a potato sack thing? No, coffee.
The burlap sack.
Burlap sack, right, yeah.
Because the sand goes through it.
Right, so she immediately unfolds it, and she immediately goes off. When I set up camp,
Solutions.
she will go off and sort of...
I promise you I'm more stylish than that. I'm wearing like a really awesome outfit, vintage. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, and she goes off and she starts picking up trash. And I love people watching. And I love to watch people's reactions as she goes around them. Because it's just one single woman going around picking up stuff. Maybe one of the kids will join her. And you see people's faces. And their reactions can range from anger, because they're kind of like saying, don't make me feel bad on my holiday. Or they feel sort of embarrassed because they just stuffed a cigarette into the sand next to their towel. Or they stand up and they said, what are you doing? And she goes, well, I'm just cleaning. And they're saying, well, are you with an agency here? And she goes, no, I'm just cleaning the beach. And they get up and start cleaning it with her. So you can, just one person, make a difference.
Makes a huge...
The most, I actually started crying when I saw this. When you see like one of our little kids or any little child cleaning the beaches next to people that really are like huffing and puffing because they feel guilty, and you see a little kid picking up their cigarette butt with their glove and putting it is such a powerful moment, because it's not an adult. The person just completely shifts. Yeah. And I've seen that, and it brings tears to my eyes, because when you see a child clean up your act on a natural environment,
for their future,
changes the heart forever. And so we love when our kids get inspired and want to be involved and help, because it just makes a huge difference.
It's a secret weapon. If we could get puppies, if we could get little cute puppies to pick up trash as well, that would be the winning combination.
We're on it. We're on it. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, so what a powerful conversation. We've got so many tools that we've got to share. So everybody that's been watching, these two are just the most amazing people ever. Thank you so much for all of your incredible work.
Oh wait, yeah. We're going to share Alexi's poem that he wrote.
Alexi, yeah.
Because we totally forgot. He actually wrote an incredible poem that every time I read it, I cry, even now. And
she cries at everything.
Me too.
From that summer that we were doing all the beach cleanups, and then later we did the week in Italy. He wrote this poem on his first beach cleanup in Italy, and we're gonna post that as well after the film.
Can you read it right now? Can you do a little impromptu poetry reading, or?
I don't think he has it right now.
Okay.
We'll post it though. He did a special post for it, so we're gonna post it today.
Beautiful. Well, can't wait for that. We'll do more poetry with you guys later. So, always so much fun with you. Thank you so much for from my perspective. I just love how powerful the shift that you guys cause within me. Like I said, I want to run out that front door and find an ocean and go save it.
Find trash.
Exactly. And also the fact that you are just doing it, and it's great. So we want to invite the entire community that's watched here to connect with you, join the Creatives for Oceans campaign, watch Basta con la Plastica, take a look at the tools that we're going to be sharing with you later, and we're super, super excited about that. And I think that's it for now. So anything else you want to share?
Promise, there's nothing else to talk.
Is there one more thing? Is there one more thing?
No, we can always do a part 2 later.
Okay. Okay, we've got that. Well, listen, I love you guys. Thank you so much. And
I love you, Patrick.
we look forward to it. Okay, bye,
love
guys.
You all.
Yeah, love you guys. Everybody,
Stay
thank you for joining. Thanks for joining.
Wear your mask.
Yes.
Your sustainable mask.
Your sustainable mask. Bye.
Bye.